So as we move into the modern age, one of the things that become more apparent for us doing the knowledge is that we need to add more strings to our bow. So it's not just a simple case of just do the knowledge and carry on. A lot of cab drivers are working out ways to make extra money, and becoming a London tour guide seems to be one of them. And today we are here with Nikki O'Connor and Frank O'Brien and Tom Hutley to discuss the pleasures and the pros and the cons of becoming one of London's tour guides under the Worshipful company of Hackney Carriage drivers. Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for supporting Wizan. Please like, subscribe, comment and hit the notification bell for any future videos. Today we are here with Mr. Tom Hutley, and that would actually be quite good with the badge. Mr. Tom Hutley, we all know from YouTube. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel. We're with Frank O'Brien, who is a legend in the cab world and also a tour guide of London, and a brand new tour guide of London. We've got Nick O'Connor, my nephew, I'm very proud of, and he's going to now carry the whole thing forward and become the greatest tour guide of London that ever lived, I imagine. Of course. I know that Nick is going to be a new badge, and he's going to collect his badge tomorrow. So should we start with you, Nick, and why you basically decided that the tour guide thing was something you thought about doing?
I know Frank done the guiding course a few years ago, and obviously we called over together on the knowledge. We were call over partners, and he mentioned it to me in passing. But this year, coming off the back of post-COVID, when we had probably one of the busiest times ever in the cab, just needed something to strike up a bit more of an interest, I think. So, you're coming off one of the busiest periods in the cab trade as ever had.
What now, you mean?
Yeah, so so that year post-COVID was the busiest year that we've ever had in the cab.
Yeah.
Certainly the busiest time period I've ever worked in.
How far back in history do you go, Nick, in the cab?
12 years.
12 years, okay.
Yeah, so over my career, if you like, that was the busiest period. And then it's still busy, but it's not as busy. Last year's work levels were crazy, and just needed something to sort of strike up a bit more of an interest, and kind of keep me motivated to go out there and to work and to be engaged with the job.
Yeah,
the course is a good way of doing that. So
it's not free though, is it? The course?
No, it's not free. You don't have to pay for it, but. One thing one of the tutors said to us is it's like if you say to yourself, right, I'm going to take 8 weeks, I'm going to dedicate this time to study, it's almost like having a gym at home. You don't ever use the gym, but if you have to pay for a gym, you kind of go to the gym and use it.
I'm a fan of that idea completely. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So paying for the course, yes, you are paying for it, and you might be able to teach yourself what you learn on the course over an 8-week period.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're not going to dedicate that time to do it. So yeah, the course is a very interesting course, and it manages to stitch a lot of London together that, places you drive past every day, and you might have no idea what happened there, or an event, or a person. And it is quite a condensed course. It's quite intensive. You do have to write essays and do short quizzes every week and answer questions.
Oh, so it's not easy. You're learning some stuff. So you're going to get your badge tomorrow. But
tomorrow,
Frank, you've had a badge for a long time.
Yeah. And 2016, I got my badge.
The tour guide badge.
The cab badge, yeah. The cab course. Yeah, I've done that in 2016.
So when you said a cab course, I think
that's what everyone calls it. We call it the cab guide course.
Oh, a cab guide course.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure someone likes on the official name of it, but when
the Worshipful company of Hackney Carriage drivers, qualified taxi guide is what this badge says.
Yeah, I've left my badge in my cab.
Oh, you got yours today, Frank. Oh,
yeah.
You'll have to let me get a shot of that.
Hold on, I'll let you get a shot of my whistle.
Oh, good. That's what you get. That's what you.
That's what you achieve. And look, it's I know Nick's just passed it. I'm still proud to this day of what I did. You don't need to be an expert when you do it. You're a cab driver. You've got so much to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Without realising it. I say to anyone, you've got the ability to engage with people because you do it every day in your day job.
Well, you don't have to make it up like I used to do. I used to say that Jack the Ripper murdered Mary Kelly on that corner there. Yeah. Just make up. I don't know who Mary Kelly was.
But I mean, you know what? You don't have to. We're great city on the planet.
Yeah.
2,000 years of history. Do you know what I mean? To make it up is more difficult. I mean, and you don't need to be an historian. If you've got any interest, look, we drive a cab. Yeah, you're driving around the city constantly. It's hitting you in the face. So
and you've already got a really good USP that you've got a taxi.
Yes.
Like above other tour guides, it's mainly walking tours. They've got to meet at a station. You've got to get a lot of marketing behind you because you need a minimum amount of people to come and do it. Whereas with a cab, it's family
and as well
people, and then you can take them to places they wouldn't normally do. Yeah,
it's so with that because you are a cab driver, you're not like you're stepping in, you're dipping your toe into something that you can, because you're a cab driver, you can give it time and effort. And if you ain't working, if you're not guiding, you can drive the cab. So you're not pressured to make a cab. Whereas in people who are tour guides, and that's their business, they're putting a lot of effort and they're not really getting a lot of return. It's a great way to step into guiding.
Yeah.
The actual course as well, just for anyone who doesn't know much about it. So it's an initiative run by the Worshipful company of Hackney Carriage drivers. It's Nick alluded to. It's about 8 weeks. I think it's about just under £500 now. But it's designed by cab drivers, so the tutors are on it, are cab drivers. There's some blue badge tutors on there as well.
You are one of the tutors, aren't you?
So I'm not a tutor. I'm part of the committee that helps run it, so help to kind of promote it, get it out there. Most of the time, the kind of promotion of it's quite organic because it's been running for so long. People kind of know about it and they tell their friends, because everyone, I'd like to say everyone who's done it, and Nick, you sound like you've pretty achieved with it, is that it's a good thing, it's worth doing. For me, I compare it with like a yarn of thread on my shirt that I wish I hadn't started pulling, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming.
Yes.
And you learn a lot from it, and it just really sparks that intrigue. And then, as Frank's gone on to do Westminster badge.
Yeah, Westminster badge. Yeah,
I'm also I went on to do a Camden guiding badge. So I did that in 2019, 2020.
So it's very dangerous that you might end up becoming a boring anorak kind of old man talking about train numbers.
A little bit, yeah.
I think you manage your audience, yeah. My kids, my wife, and all of that coming home. Oh my God, Dad's talking again.
Yeah.
People who don't know about it, don't worry, just leave it. But when you get people who like you spark something in them and they're like, oh, what's that? And then all of a sudden you're showing them stuff, telling them stuff that is in front of them, and they're blown away by it.
I've seen that for 20 years. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, and all of that. The amount of times I've done a tour, right now, Tom, I'm sure this has happened to you. I've had someone go, oh, I've got someone visiting. Don't worry, I know London really well, but can you just tell them stuff? And then by the end of it, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I've lived in London all my life.
I grew up in London. I didn't even know about, do you know what I mean? They're blown away. So you get that a lot, like when you do them tours, but yeah, it's great.
Is it very date orientated? Like
listen,
1962?
There are a couple. Speaking just because I've just finished.
Your dates are fresh.
So there are a handful of very specific dates that you will learn.
Let's have them.
When did the Great Fire start?
I can't remember.
Oh, that's the funny one, isn't it? Because it's the thingy. The Battle of Hastings is 1066, and the Great Fire of London is 1666.
Yeah.
So there was a weird thing with the 66s. Am I right?
Yeah.
I've done the guide course already. Look.
Yeah. 2nd of September.
So what dates are relevant?
The Great Fire,
yeah.
Execution of Charles I, and that's
when was Charles I executed?
30th of Jan, 1649.
And did you know the story behind his statue? Because I learnt that one.
Yeah, it's something that you're told on one of your walks. So with the course, you do a classroom session and you do a physical walk. So you'll do a classroom session on a Monday and it will be about a specific area. And then you have a week to do a quiz. And then on the Sunday, you go to that area with a guide who's involved in the course, and they walk you around for 2 to 3 hours, and they do a walk of that area. And that's your kind of practical for the course. Yeah. So you do have to invest a bit of time.
And even if you just went and did those walks, like just paid just doing the walks, you learn so much just from doing that.
I don't want to. It's accessible for any cab driver who's got an interest. Yeah, don't if you've got a fleeting interest, you'll love it. You don't need to be like I say. Like, you do learn so much, but it's like that. You learn all this. It's like the iceberg of knowledge. What they call it, like on guiding.
It's all underneath.
You know all of this stuff, but you're only really giving them. But you need to know all that sort of stuff. Generally, you just pick it up, but you don't go around.
But in terms of the actual course as well, like I think Nick said about like how you have to do essays and stuff like that. It's actually designed for the average sort of cab driver. Right. So just building upon the knowledge you've already got. It's also it's all cab driver cohorts. You get to sort of talk and really good networking opportunities. So the guys I did the guiding course with, whenever they get tours, it's like, oh, I can't do it, but they're going to be cool.
There's definitely like a community of guides. And now with WhatsApp and stuff like that, you can communicate. You know who you want to cover your work.
Have you got a website between you?
Yeah, I mean,
No, what I was suggesting was that, I mean, basically all us cab drivers who are on, and I'm not a guide, but if I was, I'd expect to be part of a community of guides that are on a website that we could select from. Is that available?
WhatsApp groups and things like that.
There is one of the biggest companies out there. When I came out, I started the company with my the people I've done the course with. There's like 10 of us, and the company's still going. And we was in the early stages looking at possibly doing some sort of guild. To be part of, but I think generally, if you look after yourself, you see the same faces, it's little nod, hello, you don't have to go out wearing a 3-piece suit, but just look a bit respectable.
I think going back to what you were saying about like the promotion of the course, nearly everyone that was on that course knows someone that's done it. Oh, my mate done this course.
Yeah, that's the course.
And that is the way that you kind of organically get into guiding. So like, obviously I'd done the course because of Frank.
Yeah.
And
after telling him for years, I didn't just tell him last week.
I only have 2 of these a year, so they always get filled out. So,
but that's the knowledge, Frank, isn't it? You tell someone for years do the knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
And then you stop telling them, and all of a sudden they've finished it.
All of a sudden they go, "I think you've done." Yeah.
So, but I would have thought that if I'm a tourist coming in from America, that there would be the guild, like you said, of tour guides, of cab drivers. That would be fantastic, and you're all on there as a database. I don't know how you disperse who would get what, but being in one place.
We're straying into like the politics of
I mean, look, if you think about guiding in general, like blue badges, they've got like a blue badge website. It doesn't mean that every blue badge is on that website, and it doesn't mean that every blue badge on that website only works for that. Do you know what I mean?
So they've still got to market themselves as well. Like everyone's like, oh, do the blue badge, and for people who don't know what we're talking about, in guiding, you have blue badge is seen as like the knowledge of guiding. Yeah. It takes 2 years to complete. Currently, it's about £10,000 to do.
Yeah.
Really, really intensive. And then there's other guiding badges underneath it. So most boroughs of London, as I've alluded to, Camden, Westminster, City of London, will all have their own kind of guiding one. And then, the taxi guide badge fits underneath that. But you still have to go out and market yourself. So it's not like you come do this course and then you're going to go get loads of tour work. And you don't technically need the badge to go out and do tour guiding. There's plenty of people who do it because this actually gives a lot of credibility for other stuff. So for me to get on the Camden guiding course, I was able to go in and say, well, I've done this tour guiding course with the Worshipful company.
And you don't necessarily have to get on these courses. I don't know, like the Westminster course, Caroline who run it, she had a whole spectrum of people, like people who've done courses, city courses, cab drivers, although I was the only one on it this time, and then she'll have someone who's got absolutely no experience, and they do. But it gives you a little bit, and then obviously if you do want to work for other companies, has he done the guiding course or she? And it's like, oh, well, they ain't done the guiding course. Well, I
can't trust them.
Can't trust them. I don't know. You might tell me they've got the best personality in the world, and they're a historian, but unless they've done a basic course, then how can I sort of?
There's a lot of other fundamentals to guiding as well. It's not just spouting facts. Like a lot of it is telling stories, entertaining a group, being able to guide a building, but without actually having to turn around and look at it, because you want to be having good eye contact with your guests.
That's one thing that's taught on the Worshipful company course is when you go out for your first, so whatever the area is where the exam's going to be. So our exam this year was Clerkenwell. Next year it's going to be somewhere else. So you go out on the first walk to that area, and they talk you through all of this, all of your health and safety. This is where you stand. This is where you don't stand. This is how you stand with the point behind you, and you put your people here, and this is how you show them. And that's the practical side of it.
So you're looking at them, but they're looking at
it's
the
like
object.
when you watch a TV news reporter, which sits there and that's what they do. Yeah. Always. Now, when they turn around, you think, seriously.
And it becomes an obsession now, because they obsess about it on the later guiding courses. Like again, and I'm straying away from
it. And the 5-minute window.
You got to have TVP to top visual priority and stuff. Yeah. So
you had me at USP. I thought, what's he going to USP stick for?
But like even knowing like where the drop curbs are, because if you've got anyone in your group who's disabled, like you'd have to. Becomes a bit.
And I'll tell you another thing as well. When the because you're in a cab, a lot of and look, 85-90% of my customers are American. They see that they will land and go, oh, let's go and do a black cab tour and familiarise ourselves. So you do get sometimes people who are jet lagged. So you manage that.
Yeah.
Look, we're cab drivers. You got to remember, as cab drivers, we've got so much to bring. But
actually, that's what you said. Your unique selling point, which I wasn't completely confused about a USB stick and a USB stick. But your unique selling point, our unique selling point, we are actually cab drivers. We're in a perfect position springboard to this tour guiding thing.
We've engaged with people all the time. I say it to everyone. Oh, I'm not too sure how I am with people. What do you do when someone comes up to your window? You talk to them. Where are you going? You know, do you know what I mean? So that's what you're bringing to the guiding. You're bringing that in. And then you're working on them skills. You're building on them skills. You're building on a bit of knowledge.
Also don't really remember all the facts you tell them. They don't give a damn if you know.
All they remember is experience.
Yeah.
I was told that when I'd done the course. They will not remember a single thing you've told them.
But they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, they remember how you made them feel. Some stories are funny.
Were the kids happy and engaged? If you could win the kids, you win.
9 times out of 10, if the kids are playing up, just sort them out.
So you're just doing small parties, cabs?
No more than 6. Sometimes you do multiple cab jobs.
When you say no more than 6, what are you talking about then?
We've got six seats, innit?
So you on a 6-seater? I'm sorry, I'm old school.
Oh, here we go.
5-seater.
You've got to be electric, mate, I'm telling you. We ain't got to be electric, but, you know. Panoramic roof. It's an icon, though, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's actually one of the things. You've got an electric vehicle now. It's got to be a hell of a lot easier to be speaking and doing a tour guide in an electric vehicle than it is.
And more and more people getting used to it. I mean, I don't think our company ever gets requested for like a diesel cab. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's quite happy. Everyone loves the glass roof. I mean, it's perfectly made for it. And it's quiet. And like you say, you can engage with people.
Well, what's Nick going to do then? You've got an old growler, Nick.
TX4. Yeah.
It's people still do it, though.
But you can also sort of market it that way. You can say, well, it's the traditional taxi.
Yeah.
So it's always just how you spin these things. You know, you could argue that the TX4 seats are more comfortable in the back. Because obviously the...
Yes.
Is it more comfortable in the back?
Yeah, that's what we're sitting on a lump of wood. That's what the jump seats, they're like really stiff, aren't they? Like when you do Stonehenge in a bath and that.
Oh, them. Okay,
the jump seats.
Do you know we got told a story about the tip seats, that they were for the servants?
Do you know what someone told me the other day, which is a really good way of marketing it? I got their conference seats. Yeah.
Conference seats.
And that's how I'm going to market from now on.
Yeah,
they've got conference seats
sit on the conference seat.
Face each other.
Yeah.
Charge a premium for those.
In the East End, we market them as footrests.
Do you know what you were saying about when you get excited by people that are interested and you want to talk to them and all that? So my eldest is at an age now where he's learning about history in school. So he's 7, year 3. He come home, he said, Dad, we've got Tudor Day in school. So I was like really excited. I was telling him about Henry VIII. He was like, Dad, I really don't care. I was like,
oh no.
Just give you 5 minutes of my best stuff and he don't care.
Well, that's the kids. Yeah, you're telling me your best stuff. They're like, that ain't what we're supposed to do. You think, well, of course you're supposed to. So what Tudor Day, we're going to do something High Holborn's got to be Tudor in it, surely?
The building,
Tudor style building, near Chancery Lane.
You don't think it's Tudor original?
That's mock, isn't it?
It's mock, yeah.
You think?
Well, no, it's original. That would have been there, but it's obviously been updated over the time. Yeah, so the Great Fire didn't spread through to there.
So anything outside?
I thought it was because that's what I sort of learnt, but it's one of the only surviving. Yeah,
I thought it was Tudor, and I'm no expert.
They're saying there every
but by the sounds of it, neither are yous.
No.
Someone will be in the comments going, "You're wrong, Tom."
Well, maybe, but
possibly.
Something else we also learn is that history isn't set in stone. New things come out all the time, and they dig and they find something new, and they say, "Well, actually, no, this is the oldest artifact we've ever found." Like things change all the time.
Also,
so the history that you know will change.
There's a couple of lines that get you out of trouble when you're a tour guide.
Which is,
it has been said.
The history books tell us.
Yeah.
Legend has it.
That's right. Yeah, you know it.
According to my grandmother.
Yeah.
It's like I believe as well. Like that's so much more powerful than I think that's correct. If you say I think, everyone's like you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you soon you soon master the skill to give people the answer that you want to give them.
Yeah.
But
well, I don't know about that, but what I can tell you is, for 2,000 years of history, I can't know it all.
No.
You know,
and it's a bit humbling as well to say, look, I don't know. Yeah, you don't know everything. Because at the end of the day, the kids are going to be on Google in the back and be, oh, that year wasn't correct. Oh, that wasn't correct.
Yeah, no, what, you're on Wikipedia. You don't go on Wikipedia. That's wrong, obviously, isn't it? Anyone can do that.
No, Wikipedia is fairly accurate.
No, Wikipedia, it ain't. No. We don't use Wikipedia.
No,
we're told,
they tell you on the course.
You can be inspired by Wikipedia. Yeah. But don't listen to anything it says.
Go look at the sources that Wikipedia will give, and then go read those books and then get more. But even all the like history books, they'll conflate one another. Yeah, I'm sure you've read stuff
what's that thick one? You say to mention on the course. It's called like London's history. It's like
Encyclopedia of London.
Yeah, I've got that one.
That's like meant to be
that big coffee table one.
That.
Yeah, but it's even down to like the amount of people that died in the Great Fire is disputed. Like
nine.
There's no real record.
All the prisoners.
We were told 6, but then
I was told more people died from the monuments to the Great Fire than the actual fire itself.
There we go. Yeah.
What, building the monument?
Yeah, a couple of
Jumping
people
off of it.
jumping off of it. Or
Oh,
during
right.
That's why I got the
construction.
cage on it now, isn't it? So stop people jumping.
You've walked up it.
Do you know what? I haven't actually walked up
I've never done it.
Oh, I have.
I ain't been on a London
boy,
Eye.
I'm the only one who's done it.
I've
never
been
been
on
on
a
London Eye?
No.
Jeez.
There's 32 capsules on the London Eye. Why?
One for each borough.
But the city isn't a borough. Like,
Yeah, it's
31
borough,
and the city
yeah.
isn't a borough. The city isn't a borough.
No, it's
So
not.
there's-
But it's in there 32 boroughs and the city is different. I
think it's 32 if you include the city. Possibly,
it?
or-
I don't know.
yeah,
The city's is confusing me because I did see something that the city's kind of like its own country.
Yeah, so you have to write essays on the course, and there's essays on different things every year. So we had to write one on Mansion House, which is like the home of the Lord Mayor.
Yeah.
And then you really get into the weeds of the Lord Mayor, why the city has a Lord Mayor, what his job is, and why the city, what the role of the city is, and
The Queen asking permission to enter the city. And
Temple
that.
Bar.
Oh, sorry, I'm a
Yes.
Westminster guy.
Yeah, you'll have to know about it 'cause you have to enter through it by a temple bar. Yeah, that's the official
No
entrance for the
interest in
monarchy.
going over
But
there.
the way the course is structured is good because you do your 3 essays. Then they're only like 500 words, but you do so much research on Mansion House and the city that then you have a full understanding of it, and you have to try and condense it down so that when you're on a tour, you're not just boring people for 7, 8, 9 minutes. Like when you're at a point of interest and you're showing someone something, it's like 5 minutes max.
Yeah.
And that's the idea behind the essays is you got your 500 words and you're trying to cherry pick the information you want into your 500 words.
See, this is that iceberg of knowledge that they teach you through making you do essays and make you do. You research so much stuff, and I don't want to scare people. Oh God, I've got to do like. It's not like that. You're engaged in something. You enjoy it. It's. You meet like-minded people on there, so you feed off them. Do you know what I mean? And you enjoy it. Trust me, if you're interested, do it. If you've got an interest, do it. For that reason, and you will meet like-minded people. You do feed off each other. You do all this sort of stuff. All of a sudden, you've got really good interest. You pick things up. That you're like, wow, I've been driving around the city for years. I never knew that.
Yeah.
We're not all driving around with our eyes shut. So trust me, there will be things that you'll hear on the course, like Charles I, you mentioned, all of that, the background behind why it's there, and it's so interesting. You know what I mean?
So what is the background why it's there?
I don't want to get into facts now, but
I just wanted,
Giving
before we
away
move on, whilst we mentioned the City of London, I have to plug it because obviously I'll get in trouble if I don't. But obviously the course is part of the Worshipful company, as I've mentioned before. But there's when the course Cab Guide graduates go out, and as Nick's going to go to tomorrow, we get to have a bit of a dinner as well. So it's a really nice celebration of the achievements that all the graduates go through. So it actually takes place in a city livery hall because, of course, Worshipful company is part of one of the 110 liveries, is it?
Oh, I was meant to know that. It's meant to be, but you're meant to know that.
I believe.
I
know all 110 of them as well, yeah?
It's like me knowing there's 6 seats in the back of my cab, he should know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go join all the others. But then people who go through the guiding course also get the opportunity to join the livery company, learn more about the livery. I've done stuff as part of that by taking part in the Lord Mayor show. Again, it's just endless opportunities.
I might jest about the city light and snoring, but no, honest to God, you do get really engaged in it, and you do. I mean, we went to the Cutlass Hall, and that was the first time.
It's sort of like the dinner you feel
amazing.
like you should have had when you finished the knowledge.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly it. That's what we were saying. We should have done something to the knowledge because you get all tired.
And the original halls that are still there, they've still got some beautiful buildings.
So Waterman's Hall tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, Waterman's is my friend who is what is the top dog of a particular hall called?
Master.
So the master of the Watermans, yes, that's Simon McCarthy. So he's a cab driver. So the master of the Watermans is a cab driver.
Yeah. They are forefathers. Waterman. I was having a little conversation on the way down here. They are forefathers, isn't they? Waterman, ferryman, same thing.
The original taxi drivers came from ferrymen,
Yeah, from the ferryman,
And supposedly where the badges supposedly come on, they used to wear like a badge or insignia on the
on
thing, apparently,
the bell on their arm.
Legend has it.
It has been said.
But they would do shuttle runs across the Thames every day because the only way was the London Bridge. London Bridge would get congested, and their equivalent of Heathrow was Greenwich, please, mate.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Sweet.
So this is basically, the Worshipful company of Hackney Carriage drivers has, in a sense, risen its game by this course as well, because it kind of was...
It's one of the things that a Worshipful company has to do. They have to do, I believe it's education, charity, and it's like fellowship as well. So that you have to achieve these different things. There's charity affiliations, there's military affiliation. Every Worshipful company will have some kind of military affiliation or whatever as well. Education as well. So kind of like giving back, because they're kind of like, I don't know the exact structure of it, but it's kind of like a non-profit-y kind of thing. So it just goes back into
how long, Tom, have they been doing this particular course? Because it wasn't all the time. It doesn't go back 30 years.
It's got to be nearly a decade.
Jamie Owen said he was on the first one.
Yeah.
I know. He said he's like 20 odd years or so, I think.
Well, I know the guy coming tomorrow, Peter Maynard. I'm sure he was something again to do with the very early days of the tour guide course on the Hackney Carriage.
See, and again, like even when I done it, it wasn't really like one of the people who run the course then. He was. He had his own company, and he was sort of, there wasn't really like nowadays with the social media. Dare I say it? What we're doing to the touring industry is what's happened to the cab trade in recent years by the power of the internet.
Yeah.
So that's now we're in that. If you get involved in this, depending on how you play it, you could be in that strong position where you're commanding where your work is coming from.
Yeah.
Now, when I done it, the person he had his own company, and then he started sort of taking people out on training days and, do you want to do this? And yeah, we do it. And now since I've done it, it's become a bit of a machine where people expect to go in, do a training day, learn how to do this, and effectively they're ready to go and they're ready to pick up work. And if you talk to the right people, not saying that you got to be in a clique, but I'm just saying, you could end up getting work straight away.
Yeah.
And then obviously
there is nothing worse than like when it comes to really quiet times on the street, your January, February's, March, and you see someone who's done the course and they're walking down St James's Street, pointing out like all the little, what's the square down there where the first Texas, the Jewel.
Oh yeah, well,
Texas Embassy Cantina. Used to be. No, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, in the is it Pickering Place?
Pickering Place, yeah. They left without paying their debt, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then when they paid it off, they put a plaque up to say that between 1842 and 1845, they had their own.
This is on Pall Mall East kind of area.
No, it's at the bottom of St James's Street. We're Berry Brothers and Ruddish. You go down the alleyway.
There's a little tiny alleyway with a square in, and they say it's where a duel took place.
It's the last duel in London, I think, took there.
But then this is what you say about history always changing.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube debunking that story.
And then who's to say he's right?
So it's it's... Yeah, you got
to be a bit loose with stuff like that. Like, look, we've just mentioned the plaque. Like every cab guide will know about that plaque. All right,
yeah.
We from Texas, they're going to see that.
There must be a link with that plaque. Do you know the Canadian High Commission down the other end?
That was a point. The Texas Embassy Cantina was...
Cantina, but I thought there was also a plaque up there.
You got Quebec House around the corner.
Yes, is there some connection between this
Quite
Texas
possibly,
and that Texas there? Because there was a
be.
plaque on there for something about the Texas Embassy Cantina.
Possibly.
Anyway.
There's connections all throughout.
Do you know what? When I done the course in 16, they went, has anyone done any guiding before? And someone had done a tour for a load of people that worked in the meat industry. I've done a meat tour. I was like, what? And I actually done a Craig's tour. I had some Scottish fellow in a cab, and he's going, I'm like, can you do me a tour and all that? And I was like, yeah, I'll look into it. And it's quite interesting. I think that's probably what gisted me to think.
The last prisoners at the Tower of London, weren't they?
They were the last prisoners at the Tower of London, yeah. And it sort of gisted me probably into going into doing the in the guiding course. You know what I mean? Because I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of research. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you're from London. It's part of London.
So you're not doing this. You're not doing this for the money.
No, don't do it for the money.
But it is an extra string to your bow, definitely, and gives you something to diversify.
You can manage your income quite more easier. Like
this is what I was kind of mentioning is that you're out there like in January, February, and you see someone who's doing a tour, and you're like, God, he's earning I'm here scratching around for like 20
last
quid.
year I worked. I mean, you can cut this out. Last year I worked Boxing Day right the way through to the 2nd of January
on tours.
Touring, yeah. Wow. I mean, that was nice.
Why the hell am I going to cut that out?
But I've been working at it for years. But the point is, if you put yourself out, it's not going to just come to you.
Well, you've hit something on the head there about putting yourself out, because it's something that I think we chatted, me and you, Tom, earlier, but it's something I know. Dave Frampton is going to be here tomorrow as well, and you might have seen Dave on other podcasts, but Dave is, for me, the epitome of what a cab driver is, because he does what you're doing. He diversifies. He picks someone up at the airport. He's talked to them. He's got their phone number, and now he's a personal chauffeur whenever they come into town and stuff like that. So a lot of us, when we're working, if you are in this job and you're not actually networking, as it were, you're just doing the job, picking them up, dropping them off, which is kind of how I would worked. But now I just see that there's so much to this job.
I mean, I like the beauty of that, because like sometimes if I get too many tours in the calendar and then managing YouTube and stuff, it's like, oh my God, like I've got such a busy week. Like it really, someone's really throws me, and I get a bit anxious if I see like, oh, my whole next year's booked up, or if I want to go on holiday or whatever. Yeah. But if you are the sort of person that likes to have a bit of, like Frank's saying, just have a bit of a reliable, right, I know where that's happening there and then. And also it's just, you get a nice group in the cab, like, it's awesome, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it was nice for me to get to the end of the season, you know, if you can call it that, and just a few days in the cab, because I was thinking, oh, thank God for that. But then the hardest thing is I just want to go home.
Yeah, but I also know it is a bit of a performance. You are on a stage in front of someone. You have to have that skill.
Yeah, you have to have the skill. Look, I don't want anyone just going, I'm going to become a guide. You know, you understand what you're getting into, but I don't want people to think that they've got to be, they've got to be an entertainer or a comedian or stand-up comedian or joke. You know, you ain't got to. You've got a way of connecting with people, and that's the point of it. You can connect and you can read people.